I'm going to show you how to install board and batten. We're going to go through the trims, accessories, and all the tips and tricks to make it look beautiful. So we have brick on top of here, which is really common for a lot of houses. So I'm going to start with our custom brick ledge flashing. That'll match our board and batten color. This is going to go underneath your house wrap. House wrap will go over it to wick water away from the house over this brick and get it off. Now that we have our brick ledge flashing on, we're going to go ahead and install our inside and outside corner for this wall. The unique part to board and batten is you have to use our two-piece outside corner post. The reason we use this two-piece outside corner post is because it has a 1-inch J channel, and that's what you need to receive the batten with our board and batten. Now with all accessories, we're going to nail these tight, and I'm going to wait on the cap for this project until all my board and batten is installed, and then I can cap it off at the end. Now I'm going to install the inside corner post. I'm going to add this to the wall, and then I'm going to put in our 1-inch J channel on this inside pocket, not only to receive the board and batten, but also to make it a really nice, clean look. Now that we have our inside and outside corner post installed, I'm going to go ahead and put on our starter batten strip. Now this is what the panels will sit on, and it gives it a really nice clean look with this wide batten. The most important thing to remember is on any board and batten job to make sure that the starter strip is completely level. If it's on the ground, you can snap a line, or in this case, I'm going to use a level. Now let's install the panels. There are 3 different ways to do this. The first and the most obvious is starting by simply sliding the batten into the outside corner post. That's going to hold it really tight so you don't have any issues with wind rattling it back and forth. When we install this first piece, we're going to lift this up about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom batten strip. This allows for a little bit of expansion and contraction. And then the key thing is to put your first nail in the top of the nail flange to make sure it doesn't drop back down, and then the rest you can center. If you don't want to end with a small piece, depending on your layout, you're going to want to go with the second method. What we do is I'll measure this out, and I'm going to cut off this batten. When I cut that off, I'm going to add a 3/4 of an inch bend to the end of this, so it sits in my J channel pocket and it won't allow for any rattling to happen. The third way to do this is if you want to start mid-wall, whether that be a makeshift gable like I have, or you want to line up a batten with a certain window or slider, I'm going to show you how to start this on the middle of the wall, and then we can break off in both directions. So what I'm going to do is rip off this batten on my very first piece. I'm going to replace that with a starter, and that will allow me to break it off in both directions. So let's go see how it's done. So I have my piece in. I have this centered on the gable line, so I'll have a batten on each end. Now I'm going to add some flashing tape behind this. Since I cut off the batten, I want to make sure that we're staying waterproof. Now that I have the flashing, I'm going to go ahead and install our starter strip. Now for this one, you don't want to go over too far because I want to keep equal spacing with the batten. So I'm just going to go over it by the hem's width. Line it up. I know this piece is level, so I line that up and go ahead and nail it in. Now we're ready to start board and batten in either direction. An important thing to note is when installing our board and batten, just like any of our products, you want to loose nail this. So I want to make sure that I have about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of this nail sticking off this hem. So then I should be able to move this batten back and forth just a little bit. Our panels expand and contract just about 1/16 of an inch over a 100-degree temperature swing. So you don't get much, but you just want to make sure that we treat this properly.